Hey everyone, I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Christine Strauss, and this is The Real Deal with Baird & Warner, where we cover all things real estate.
For buyers, sellers, renters, investors, and fellow agents. Before we introduce our guest for today and get into our topic, let's take a quick look at this past weekend's market activity, and remember to stay tuned to the end of the episode to see what's going on in the wonderful world of mortgage. So on the list side, unfortunately we saw a drop in listings this past weekend. We had kind of been holding strong for a couple weeks there, but I don't know if regular seasonality is starting to kick in here. Starting to see an already low inventory level go even lower.
Exactly, yeah, and on that note too, the buyer side, the buy activity was also down this weekend. I believe the second lowest that we've seen so far this year. So, we had Halloween over the weekend. That could have been a factor. Again, some of that seasonality as we head into that fall, winter kind of market time frame. But yeah, buyer activity was low again too. Today we are so excited to welcome Susan Colella to our show today. So thank you, Susan, for being here.
We really
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So Susan is an extremely successful agent in our office and has done a phenomenal job not only with clients but with other agents on really doing this job right. If you can kind of encompass the way to do it right, Susan definitely does it that way and has made a name for herself, and which is why we just feel it's so appropriate to have Susan on today to talk about showing etiquette, because that is a huge part of our job. So Susan, again, we are just so happy to have you here to talk about the showing etiquette within the real estate business.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
being
honored
here.
to be here. This is super fun.
Good. And we're so thrilled to have you. So
Thank you.
before we dive into that whole showing etiquette piece, do you want to just tell us a little bit about how you got into the real estate industry in general? Kind of how you found your foot into this.
Sure. So I graduated from Florida State University and in hospitality and in marketing, emphasis in marketing, and always wanted to work for larger companies. So I started out with the Marriott and went into Pitney Bowes. Then it was time to raise my family.
Sure.
So I took a break from working, and my girls needed to go to dance classes and all kinds of activities, and took a break. But then I had a life transition, I like to call it,
Sure, yeah.
where it was time to go back to work.
Right.
And I really didn't know what to do because the Marriott is crazy insane hours.
Right,
and
sure.
Pitney Bowes was intense.
Yeah.
Great job, but intense. I had 3 best friends that were in real estate.
Okay.
So I don't want to mention names, but really thank you so much, because I spoke to all of them and
You
they
know
were
who
like,
you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. So they all loved real estate, and they said, Susan, you're going to be great for this. Your personality, it's just a very rewarding job, is what I heard over and over again. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I put 100% into it. I met with Bill Gill,
There you go.
who's amazing, by the way. And I've been here the whole time, and it was the best decision I've ever made.
Good.
That's awesome.
Love hearing everyone's background, how they found themselves in this career. So that's
Yeah,
great.
It's a great career.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting into the topic for today, showing etiquette.
Okay.
So what kind of things should buyers keep in mind when they are viewing a home, when they're out on a showing, to make sure they're being respectful to the homeowners, and why are these things kind of important for them to remember?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think buyers have to know that it's a big deal when you're going out. Do your jumping jacks, do your coffee. You're going to be seeing a lot of homes, perhaps.
Right.
So just get ready for that. Sometimes I say be careful with the kids, because I love children. We all do, but it may not be the best place to bring little kids, because they'll be touching things, and you're the one in charge of your kids. So maybe find a babysitter that day. If not, it's okay. As agents, we will make that work too.
Got to adapt, yep.
Got to adapt. So that'll kind of free you up. Next thing is, it's somebody's home.
Right.
So probably 80% of the time somebody's living there. 20% of the time it's vacant. And either way, it's somebody's home. So you're going to go in as if it's your own. You want to always take off your shoes. Sometimes there's booties there.
Right.
And remove the shoes, go in and try not to touch everything. Just kind of use your eyes, let the agent guide you through, and take your time taking everything in. And I just mostly just be respectful to the home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you find? It's
Yes.
pretty basic.
Yeah, you would think it's basic, and yet
Yes.
So many agents don't follow those just simple guidelines.
Oh, I know.
Right.
And if something happens with your child while you're going through, tell your agent, like fess up,
Right.
because it's going to be bad news otherwise. So just
Sure.
say, tell your agent, something happened, and that's the best way to go.
I guarantee anyone who's watching that has seen a home with kids knows
Yes.
exactly what
They
you're
know.
talking about.
If they have that ornament in their pocket,
Yeah.
we're going to find it.
Right.
Or the Cheetos
Very true.
fingers that
Oh.
maybe grazed the couch as they were walking by.
Absolutely. Also, masks. I know that's another subject, but
Sure.
bring your mask. Sanitize your hands before you go. You're going to somebody's house, and we are still wearing the masks.
Exactly. And so that was kind of going into my next question too, especially with everything going on with COVID, over the past, several months, year now that we've been dealing with that in the real estate industry. Have you seen some of that showing etiquette, kind of those expectations shift from the normal showing etiquette?
I think so. I mean, at first we all had to figure out what to do, and it was
Right.
like all hands on. You have to have the
Yes.
gloves, the mask. We had to even have you sign forms
Right.
before going in.
Yeah.
So that has lightened up a bit as we got more educated on COVID. We figured the gloves are not so great. We're going to do more of the hand sanitizing.
Right.
So that has changed, but still, you have to wear your mask. You have
Right.
to try not to touch things. I know when we first started, everybody left their cabinet doors open.
Yep.
As
True.
sellers, just letting you know, don't touch anything, but look inside.
Right.
But again, I think this year has changed, and we are feeling a little more comfortable and vaccinated.
Yep.
Things like
Sure.
that,
Yep.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Very good point to bring up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So kind of going more on the agent point of view here. I know we're
Okay.
kind of talking about if you're a potential buyer going through a home.
Right.
But if you are an agent, what are some things that you should be doing before and after showings to kind of be respectful not only to the seller but to the listing agent?
Okay, yeah, that's a really good point. I know, for example, it's good to be prepared.
Yeah.
You have to. And I remember my one of the first houses I ever sold, and it was in Elmhurst. It was far. Knew nothing about Elmhurst. But I tell you what, I was prepared.
Right.
And the day before, I went through all my showing instructions. I did a dry run.
Yeah.
And I actually sold that house, and had I not been prepared, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So part of that is, as agents, take your time, set up those showings, but look at the showing instructions.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Because some will say turn the lights off, some will say turn the lights on, some will say, be careful not to lock the garage door, because now
Right.
you're locking out the sellers.
Right.
And if you're just going quickly, you're not looking at the showing instructions. And you should just print it all out. And now we have great apps, the Home Snap app.
Absolutely.
Pull that out, pull it up on your email, the showing instructions. You can grab it there, but maybe have a plan so that you are ready for success.
Yeah.
And also make sure, again, if there's somebody who does something to the home, call the listing agent immediately and let
Right.
them know. I've had that happen where they don't let you know, and I've had it happen to me where I've let them know. I had mud coming into the house from snow.
Right.
And you can't help it, but I let them know, and I cleaned it up as best as I could.
Right.
So also lights on or off, because there's sometimes showings going on.
Yeah, right.
One after another, and if you just shut them all off, it's not respectful.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Leave your card, because if you forget to leave your card, the seller is not sure if you were there.
And that's a big
Very
one.
True.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so you want to leave your card. And just take the time. The time's important too. With these showings,
Yeah.
you get an allotted time. So make sure you use it. Don't go over. There's also overlapping showings happening.
Right.
And maybe you want to be aware if that's the case, because
Right.
then you can get there a little early or be respectful in that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just for you agents out there, $2,500 fine if you are early or late out of your showing window.
I did not know that.
$2,500 fine.
Wow.
Well, you don't even have to worry about it because you're always respectful and you're in your time window.
True.
Yes, I'm respectful. That's very true.
But yeah, $2,500 fine.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
for you
hefty.
agents out there, make sure you're sticking to your time window.
Yeah,
Very
stick to
true.
the and sometimes as a listing agent now, I have a really beautiful listing now, at $875,000, and I'm allowing 45 minutes,
Right.
and I'm not allowing any overlapping,
Mhm.
because how is that person going to see the house and there's somebody waiting? It's just not going to work.
Yep.
So maybe anticipate those things as a listing agent, like how are you going to do that? And as a buyer's agent,
Right.
maybe call the listing agent and talk to them before.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. You're trying to sell a house.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Really
Yeah.
great point, Susan, to bring up. And
thank
I
you.
think, sometimes we think these are the basics that us as agents should know or do, but sometimes we forget or we're out of practice. So this is such a fabulous reminder. So thank you so much for sharing these tips with us.
Thank
The
you for letting
showing
me.
etiquette is great.
I have one more question for you.
Okay,
Yes.
what is it, Kevin?
How was Mexico?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question.
Susan got to go to Mexico. We had a
I
listing
did.
contest in our office, so if you
Oh.
hit a certain level of production, you got sent down to Mexico.
Right.
Yeah.
Susan was down there
I
partying it
was
up.
Partying it up. I didn't want to leave. This hotel was amazing.
Good.
It was called the Atelier Playa Meyer, and it was a new hotel, and it was gorgeous.
Good.
We loved every second of it.
That's
and
awesome.
Baird & Warner takes care of us, like really good care of us,
Yeah.
all the meals, and it was, thank you for
That's-
asking.
no,
I'm
well-
just smiling thinking about Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to
yes.
go next year too.
I'm just
I hope.
smiling looking at the
Right.
pictures everybody posted.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Good.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Well, you
Yes.
earned it.
Absolutely.
We work hard.
Yes.
This job is not for everybody, but I tell you what, it's super fun. I say
Right.
it's like the Wild West, but it's, kind of
Definitely
in some
can be,
ways,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Definitely
With the
can
showing
be.
people how you're in and out of people's
Right.
houses and all
Uh-huh.
kinds of things. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a great, great career. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for
Of
being here.
course,
Before we let you go,
Okay.
where can people find you on social media?
On social media. Well, I'm on Facebook and I'm Instagram, but I won't know the exact address.
That's okay.
Oh.
They can look you up on those
Yes,
sites.
look me up.
Make
I'm
sure
on
we've got it for
Instagram, Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I am on TikTok.
Ah,
Oh, there you
So
go.
please, yeah, love to see you.
All right.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Thanks again,
Thanks, Sue.
Susan.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
And now a word from Kevin Napoleon with Key Mortgage with our weekly Mortgage Minute.
Hello folks, my name is Kevin Napoleon. I am a loan officer with Key Mortgage. And today for the Mortgage Minute, I want to talk about a question that comes up often in our industry, which is the difference between a condo and a townhouse. Most people assume you can tell the difference by looking at it. A lot of buyers or real estate agents come to me and say, hey, it's a townhouse because it looks just like a townhouse. It's got a 2-car garage, it's got an upstairs and a downstairs, so it has to be a townhouse. And a lot of people think a condo is more like an apartment building. The reality is you can never tell by looking at it. We always go off of the legal description of the property, and if it says the word condominium in the legal description, then it's a condo. To give more detail on the difference, it basically boils down to the ownership of the land underneath and around the unit. If you own the land under the unit or around the unit, that is a townhouse. If you do not own the land, that is a condo. And it does matter when it comes to mortgage financing because there are some restrictions on what type of loans you can get if the property is legally classified as a condo. And in some cases, it could also impact interest rates. These are things consumers and many real estate agents don't know until we get a little bit farther along in some transactions. So if you have any questions on this topic, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can reach me at area code 630-956-2648. Thank you.
We really enjoyed having Susan on today to talk about the showing etiquette. So hopefully you as agents or you as potential buyers and even sellers found some really helpful tips on how we can make sure that we are always doing our job right, being respectful of the homes, and ultimately having a great real estate experience.
Yeah, it's great to see an agent that, especially a successful agent like that just
Yes.
does it right.
Exactly, 100%.
So, yes, thanks again to Susan for coming on. I think we can all find some benefit from this one.
Right.
Thanks again for joining us. I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Christine Strauss. Catch us next time to hear about
The Real Deal.